Now let's take one router. We'll take 1841. Once again 1841, 1841. So we will configure BGP between R1, R2 and R3. First, so என்ன பண்ண போறோம்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா this will be my okay, this is my BGP R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, R7, R8. So R1 to R2, we're gonna configure IBGP, inge EBGP, R3, R4, R5, then R6, then R7. Then you will have R8 somewhere here. Okay. Let's keep it simple. R1 to R2, I'm going to configure IBGP. R2 to R3, I'm going to configure EBGP. So I'll type it here. EBGP. Inga vandu IBGP. Okay. First, I'll configure IP addresses here. So I'm going to use 12.series IP. Configure terminal, interface FA0/0, IP address 12.001.255.0.0.0. No shutdown. R2 la configure terminal FA1/1 12.002. That's going to be 23.002. Please keep a note on the IP address I'm using. FA1/0 1/1 23.003. Okay, so basically between R1 and R2, pick no? R1 R2 I'm using IP address 12. சொல்லுங்க.
அந்த ஐபியும் எழுதிட்டீங்களா? அதுக்கு மேல ஒரு ரெஃபரன்ஸ் இருக்கு.
That's what I'm going to write now. Wait. Okay. So basically, it's like R1, R2, right? So this IP will be 12. 12.001 inga, 2 inga. So between R2 and R3, it's going to be 23.002, 23.003 because R3. Similar to that, R3, R4 என்னவா இருக்கும்? Guess பண்ணுங்க. 34.00 இந்த பக்கம் 3, 34.004 இங்க வரும். So basically the first number is the router number and the last number is the actual router's number. So அப்ப R45 என்ன இருக்கும் IP சொல்லுங்க. Somebody guess it.
35.1.35
R4 and R5.
45.45.004.
45.005. How about this one? Yeah, Nihita.
56.00.
Nihita.
51.00.
51.
Yeah.
R5,
55, yeah.
R6. So 56. 5, 6. Dot 0, 0,
அப்படியே
0.
எடுத்துக்கிறீங்க. Okay.
Dot 5, dot 6. இங்க என்ன சொல்லுங்க நிஹிதா யூ
67 1 and 2.
correct 67.006 67.007 just the router number. This clear, right? How I am writing the IP addresses now?
Yes.
Let's configure the BGP. So I'm going to use BGP 10. So router BGP 10, neighbor is 12.002 255.000. 1 minute, guys. எல்லா வேலையும் இந்த கேமரா பேங்க் பண்ணுங்க. So neighbor will 12.002 with remote AS of 10. That's going to be BGP neighbor. I'll come to R2. I'll say router BGP 10 again. Neighbor 12.001. Remote AS 10. Between R2 and R3 we have eBGP neighbor 23.003. Remote AS 20. Router BGP 20. Neighbor 23002. Remote AS 10. So what I'm defining is this guy here is your IBGP session. Similar to that, in this place we have eBGP session. Here we have eBGP session. So in the இடத்துல வந்து just lower one layer. Here the AS number is 10. Router AS number is 10. In this router AS number is 20. So 1 minute, guys. Demo you want to watch, right? So you can actually watch it here right away. I'll just stream it here. I can sit there. Yeah. So the command I have used so far is as follows. Okay, the command basic commands you know, right? So basically I have configured router BGP 10, neighbor 12.002, remote AS 10. That's it. This is what I have configured in R1. Okay. Now coming to R2, I have configured router BGP 10, neighbor 12.001. Then I did something like this.
நீங்க இதுக்கு ரவுட்டர் 2க்கு ஐபி அட்ரஸ் 12.0.0.2 சாரி ஆமா 255 அதெல்லாம் கொடுத்துட்டு ரவுட்டர் பிஜிபி 20 கொடுத்தீங்கல்ல neighbor 12.0.0.1 remote AS10.
Yeah, I hope it is clear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what I have configured in R3. So R3 operator. I've configured router BGP 20, AS20, neighbor IP is 12 dot, sorry, it's not R3, it's R3 I have to configure.
R2.
It's neighbor is what? 23.00, remote AS 10. So that's all the configuration of R1, R2, and R3 is R1. This one is your R1. Okay. So I have configured IP address what here? It's 12.1. In this place I have configured 12.2. Here I have configured 23.2 and 23.3. That's the configuration I've done on the IP address part, which is 12.001, 12.002, 23.002, 23.003. And these are the BGP configuration. Now coming to your configuration on the verification command. So as of now, if I type show IP BGP or if I type show IP BGP summary, you see the BGP is up, but at the last you are seeing nothing. It shows the IP addresses from R2, which means R2 is not sending any IPs. As I told you, if I type show IP BGP summary here also, it will be blank here also. EFD cartoon பார்த்தீங்கன்னா BGP, once you form neighborship, that does not means that you have to exchange the route. Route exchange, you have to use network command. And these commands, I have not used network commands, so it's not advertising yet. So pen up on lamp. I'll go to R1. I'll say router BGP. As of now, if I go to R2, 12.001 neighborship via, I am not learning any IPs, right? It shows 0. So I'm gonna go here. Now I'll try to advertise the prefix. So router configure terminal, router BGP 10, network 12.000, mask 255.0.0.0. So now if I come back to R2, if I check again, you see one prefix being learned. Why? Because I have advertised the prefix using my network statement. That's why I see in R2, I have learned one prefix. Now from R1, I'm learning a prefix to R2, right? Which means I can go to R2, I can check my received routes, whatever routes I'm receiving. The command which I received routes is what? Show IP BGP, neighbor IP, received routes. But as of now, it will show nothing. Why? Because by default, rib in table will not be shown up. So we have to enable something called inbound soft reconfiguration. The command you have to enable for that neighbor. So I can go to configure terminal. I'll type router BGP 10. Our neighbor 12.001 இருந்தா soft reconfiguration inbound. Once you enable this command, you'll be able to see your received routes. Now it shows received route as this one. It shows to reach 12.00 network. The next stop IP is 12.001, and I learned via I. I means what? With the help of a network statement. If you see question mark means, then it is being learnt via a redistribute command. So our tool to reach 12 network, what is the next stop IP? It's correct, right? From R2 to reach this subnet or this network ID, the next stop is this interface. Am I right?
Yes.
Right. Right. Now let's come back to R3. R3 let me advertise the route from R3. So I'm gonna create a loopback interface, loopback 0. The IP address I'll make it as 3333.255. No shutdown. Oh, sorry. No shutdown key is not required basically. So router BGP 20 network 3.3.3. Sorry, 3.000 mask 255000. Now I'm advertising a prefix called 3 from R3 to R2. Now if I come to R2, if I check show IP BGP summary, I'll be able to see an IP being learned via, I can simply type configure terminal router BGP 10. If neighbor is 23.0003, soft reconfiguration inbound. Once you enable this command, you'll be able to see the routes I'm learning via neighbor. Here you can see I'm learning 3 prefix via. Sorry.
Soft key configuration inbound வந்து you learn the prefix.
In the command போட்டாதான் you can see received routes. Either received routes பார்க்க முடியாது. எந்த neighbor through நீங்க routes பார்க்கணுமோ you have to use that command or else you can't see.
Okay.
You get over 5 minutes. Now if you carefully watch here, the trick is lying here. If I, for R2, what will be the next stop IP to reach that 3 prefix? Next stop will be what?
23.
It will be this IP, right? When the same IP is being sent to R1, in that case, for R1 to reach this IP, what should be the next stop IP?
.23.2.
Yeah. Next stop IP da. Tappu. R1 to reach this network, next stop is this IP, right? 12.002. How it can go skipping this guy? Directly to that guy.
Virtual ஏதாவது ஃபார்ம் பண்ணுங்க.
Don't know virtual and all. Just straightforward answer only. I mean, virtual it's wrong. Basically, இந்த R1 next stop IP இதுவாதான் இருக்க முடியும். எப்படி next stop இதுவா இருக்கும்? Doesn't make any logic, yeah. So it has to go via him only. But now if I come back to my R1 and if I check my BGP table, show IP BGP, neighbor IP, received routes. Received routes. I have to configure this command again. Wait, router BGP 10. If neighbor is 2, soft reconfiguration inbound. Now if I see received routes, what am I showing? Next stop as to reach 3.000, it is showing what? 23.003, which is wrong. Next stop should be 12.001. Now why is it happening? Yesterday we studied about one topic, right? It says an eBGP shared route will be advertised into iBGP network without changing anything, which means it will not even change the next hop IP. இது overcome பண்றதுக்கு we have to use this command router BGP 10. If neighbor is 12.001, next hop self. Next hop self, which means I have to go inside my auto router. I'll tell auto router, when you share this route inside your iBGP neighbor, you change the next hop to your local interface. So I have to go to R2 and tell this. So that R1 la the next hop change out. Let's do that. I'll go to R2. I'll say configure terminal router BGP 10. If neighbor is 12.001, then next hop is self. Once I write this command, I come back to R1. If I check here, as of now, it is not changed. So let's wait for some time, or you have to manually refresh your route. To refresh the route, the command is clear IP BGP star soft. This actually will refresh the entire routing and go through hard reset, which means the entire BGP will turn down and re-establish. If I give soft, that's why I refresh only the table and routing table information. Now see, after refreshing, the next hop got changed. So this was able to happen because I used this command in R2. Next hop self command. R2 I have used. If you don't use that command, in that case, that's going to be a risky because obviously next hop can't be that 23.003, which will not work. Now, so coming to the short route map, what if I want to block this traffic? இப்போ by default பார்த்தீங்கன்னா R3 இருக்கு அந்த IP, it's going inside show IP BGP, it's going inside here, right? Can I ping him? Thing is working. What if I don't even want my BGP to learn this particular prefix? In that case, I can use route map. I'll say let's configure ACL access list permit access list 10 permit 3.0.0.0.255.0.0.0. Done. Then I'll use a route map basically to